If there's a seat available in front of you that isn't already marked for a liturgy position or priest, please come forward, especially if you're wearing your robes.
everyone, and welcome to the Buddhist Temple of Toledo. Please be seated. We're going to perform our liturgy service now, so please turn in your liturgy books if you need to page 2. Gata of Atonement. All evil karma ever committed by me since of old on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought. Now I atone for it all evil karma ever committed by me since of old on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought. Now I atone for it all evil karma ever committed by me since of old on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought. Now I atone for it all. Nikaya 3 Refuges. Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Sangam Saranam Gacchami. Sangam Saranam Gacchami. I take refuge in Buddha. I take refuge in Buddha. I take refuge in Dharma. I take refuge in Dharma. I take refuge in Sangha. I take refuge in Sangha. The 5 remembrances. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature of change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. My deeds are my closest companions. I am the beneficiary of my deeds. My deeds are the ground on which I stand. This precious human life, rarely encountered, is easily lost. Now that I have life and opportunity, may I practice the Dharma wholeheartedly. Mahayana Refuge. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. In my heart, I take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. May I liberate suffering beings and bring them to great joy. May the compassionate spirit of love grow within me, that I may actualize the great way. Invocation of the lineage. I give thanks for the guidance of my teachers. For the lineage of teachers before them, I give thanks and offerings for their devoted practice of generosity, moral discipline, patience, joyful effort, concentration, wisdom, skillful means, unshakable vow, spiritual powers, and awakened awareness for my benefit. May their years of life be lengthened. May their vows be completely realized. And may I cultivate these perfections with their guidance. 7 practices of the Bodhisattva. I bow down in body, speech, and mind. I offer the best I have to give, both real and imagined, to fill the space between us. I regret and purify all transgressions. I rejoice in all virtues. I request you to remain until total enlightenment. I request wise and compassionate guidance. I dedicate my merit for the sake of all beings. Generating love and compassion. May all sentient beings be free from clinging and hatred. Being close to some and distant from others, how wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will free them from clinging and hatred. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings enjoy happiness and the causes of happiness. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will bring them happiness and the causes of happiness. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will free them from suffering and the causes of suffering. Bless me to accomplish this. May all sentient beings have the joy that has never known suffering. May they be free from clinging, hatred, jealousy, miserliness, doubt, pride, wrong view, ignorance, and dualistic thoughts. How wonderful it would be. May this be accomplished. I will bring them to this state. Bless me to accomplish this. Please stand for the Heart Sutra. Great Prajna Paramita Heart Sutra. Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva practicing deep Prajna Paramita clearly saw that all 5 skandhas are empty, transforming all suffering and distress. Shariputra, form is no other than emptiness, emptiness no other than form, form form is exactly emptiness, emptiness exactly form, sensation, perception, mental reaction, consciousness are also like this. Shariputra, all things are essentially empty, not born, not destroyed, not stained, not pure, without loss, without gain. Therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no sensation, perception, mental reaction, consciousness, no eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, no color, sound, smell, taste, touch, object of thought, no seeing, and so on, to no thinking, no ignorance, and also no ending of ignorance, and so on, to no old age and death, and also no ending of old age and death, no suffering, cause of suffering, cessation, path, no wisdom, and no attainment, since there is nothing to attain. The Bodhisattva lives by prajna paramita, with no hindrance in the mind, no hindrance, and therefore no fear, far beyond delusive thinking. Right here is nirvana. All Buddhas of past, present, and future live by prajna paramita, attaining anuttara samyak sambodhi. Therefore know that prajna paramita is the great sacred mantra, the great vivid mantra, the unsurpassed mantra, the supreme mantra, which completely removes all suffering. This is truth, not mere formality. Therefore set forth the prajna paramita mantra. Set forth this mantra and proclaim Gate, Gate, Parasam, Gate, Bodhisvaha, Gate, Para, Gate, Parasam, Gate, Bodhisvaha, Gate, Para, Gate, Parasam, Gate, Bodhisvaha. Infinite realms of light and dark convey the Buddha mind. All that is and we ourselves come forth in perfect harmony. We offer this sincere and devoted practice for the many beings of the six worlds and dedicate it in grateful thanks to the strength and sound practice of the Great Heartland Sangha and its teachers. May our virtuous actions be clear from all interferences, and may our vows be fully realized. We especially dedicate these merits to Joe, Trudy, Katrina, Mike, Cindy, Sokai, Roger, Debbie. May they have peace, healing, and wellness. And to Alan, Ken, Chris, and Tracy at the time of their death, and to those whose name we hold in the silence of our hearts as those whose names we now voice aloud. May we live in perfect peace with Buddha Dharma, and may we realize the Buddha way together. All Buddhas throughout, stay Bodhisattvas, wisdom beyond wisdom, Mahaprajna Paramita. Thank you, everyone. Please be seated for Zazen. Oh, I understand we also have Dharma School today, so please exit for Dharma School. stand for camping? At the sound of the clappers, first and third rows will turn to their right, second and fourth will turn to their left. We'll walk at a slow half pace until the clappers sound again, and then we will resume normal walking speed. We will now recite the Song of Covenant, which can be found in your liturgy book on page 8. We, the Daishin Kokuji Sangha, with respect for the worth and dignity of each person, with wonder at the wisdom and compassion we seek to cultivate by practice, and with deep gratitude for the teachers of this lineage and our connection to one another, covenant to support each other by upholding the precepts of doing no harm, practicing good, and actualizing good for others. Please be seated for today's Dharma talk. Sit comfortably and position yourself so that you can make eye contact with the teacher. And we will open with Gata on opening the sutra, which you may also find in your liturgy book on page 8. Gata on opening the sutra. The Dharma incomparably profound and infinitely subtle is rarely encountered even in millions of ages. Now we see it, hear it, receive and maintain it. May we completely realize the Tathagata's true meaning.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. It is such a beautiful day. We are blessed. So today we are going to be looking at a case from the Gateless Gate. So this is a book of koans, and koans are like sayings of the lineage masters, or kind of experiences, little like not morality tales, but little like anecdotal tales that somehow speak directly to our own life, our own experience, and our own awakening. So in Buddhism, we do something called practice, right? We practice a lot. It is a labor-intensive religion. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and quite frankly, a lot of courage, and a lot of discipline, and a lot of humor, and a lot of joy. So these koans are like just one aspect of all of the different practices that we do at the temple. They are a very important aspect because working with the koans gives us a way to check, to see how is our mind aligning with the tradition of awakening. How is the awakened mind of the masters and my mind meshing, right? They say sometimes are our eyebrows intertwining, right? Isn't that a nice, interesting image? Our eyebrows intertwining. But it's not the only thing that we do, right? So we have liturgy, which is so beautiful. Didn't it feel so powerful today? And we have just hanging out together with each other. We have pasta. But this is all part of practice, right? Especially for the introverts among us, it's like super duper high powered practice, probably the hardest practice. Let's see, what else do we have? We have academic study, right? So we have a 2-year stages of the path class going on for people who have taken Jukai. Now, if you haven't taken Jukai and you think, oh, I'd really like to do something like that, fear not. After 2 years, it's going to come back and we'll do it again. But you have to take Jukai first. And if you don't know what that is, that's okay. You can ask somebody. The best to ask anybody in the black robes or the gray robes. There's a lot of them these days. Isn't that lovely? It's very exciting. You know, our Sangha is maturing so beautifully, and it's because of all of our efforts that it is so. Shall we dive in? Oh, before I begin, I have the grimoire, right? So a grimoire is normally a book of spells, right? But my grimoire is a book of antidote to the spells of samsara, or the spells that would keep us in ignorance and hatred and greed. Would keep us in the world of feeling so separate and so anxious about what the hell is going on, and so kind of confused about what our purpose actually is, and how is it that the mind continues. All the big questions, the religious questions, right? Okay. So let's get on with the koan. This is case 38. Now, a koan actually is also translates as a public document or a public case. So this is really interesting because there are sort of, there's a law, right? There's a correct answer. There's a correct alignment that many people agree on, right? Just like, well, we can argue about the law, I guess, but in general, you know, the judge decides yay or nay, right? So in this case, I'm the judge. But it's not arbitrary. It comes through the lineage. And believe me, I have been put through the goblet of fire many, many times, especially from my teacher over here. So, and he's also a judge too. Okay, so the case. Goso said, for example, it is like a great water buffalo passing through a latticed window. Her head, horns, and 4 legs have passed through. Why is it that her tail cannot pass through? Mumon's commentary. If in regard to this, you were able to turn yourself upside down, attain one single eye, and utter a turning word, you will be able to repay the 4 obligations above and help the living beings of the 3 realms below. If you are still unable to do this, reflect again on the tail. Then you will be able to grasp it for the first time. The verse, if it passes through, it will fall into a ditch. If it turns back, it will be destroyed. This tiny little tail, what a strange and marvelous thing it is. Now, I lectured on this koan on Wednesday, and you can sort of feel the heroic archetypal quality of working with these koans. They've got a real sort of Marvel Avengers kind of vibe to them. And if you can actually settle down and do them, they are so healing, right? As I said, this whole book that I have here, the Grimoire, is the antidote to all of the crazy, right? So let's look at it a little bit. So this water buffalo, right? Now, 2 kinds of water buffaloes, right? One makes that awesome mozzarella. Right. Have you ever had buffalo mozzarella? It's really good. But the other kind, that's the kind that we're going to talk about in this koan. So this is the beast of burden buffalo, water buffalo, right? This is the one that, I've been watching this show called Turning Points in the Middle East because I'm really trying to understand what's happening over there in Gaza. And this professor from Johns Hopkins just basically takes you through this long arc of Middle Eastern history. And we got to the point where the Mongols were invading Baghdad. And he threw this picture up on the screen, and it showed the Mongol hordes coming into battle to totally raze Baghdad right to the ground. But anyway, one of the ways that they were so good is that all of the warriors traveled really light. All they had was their horse and their arrows. And it turns out that when you're riding a horse and you're shooting an arrow, it goes super, super fast. So anyway, that was one of the ways that they conquered people. That's sort of a side issue, though. The main issue is that the water buffaloes had all of their heavy equipment, and they would yoke them all together, eight in a row, so they'd have 16 water buffaloes, and they'd take their yurts whole and stick them on top of the cart and just kind of meander along from camp to camp. Very efficient. So this particular water buffalo, great burden, right? Just carrying all the stuff. Now, sometimes we say in Zen, come in, you put down the backpack, right? Put down all the stuff you're carrying, right? Well, in this case, it's not just a backpack, it's a huge cart with a house on top of it. And we're all kind of walking in with a huge cart with a house on top of it full of baggage, right? This particular water buffalo, though, figured out how to put the burden down. This water buffalo figured out how to put the burden down. This is no small thing. And this is why we're here. Breath by breath, conversation by conversation, chant by chant, forkful of pasta by forkful of pasta, we are learning how to put down the burden of our crazy, confused minds. These maladjusted, I call it the maladjusted samsaric egomaniac, right? This habit energy that is trying its best to make it through the day and just making things so much worse, right? What we're talking about here is purification, actually. We're talking about how do we purify our minds so that instead of being so preoccupied with self-interest, so preoccupied with what am I going to get, what do I need to push away, who do I need to, draw into me to make me feel better, who's my enemy, who's my friend. A different way. In the liturgy, we say, may they be free of dualistic thoughts, right? It's the dualistic thoughts, the separating thoughts that keep us from our true nature, our Buddha nature. Now, this water buffalo in this particular koan had time to practice. He must have gotten a few years off because he'd worked so hard or whatever. I don't know what it is, but he actually had time to practice, right? And lo and behold, all of that energy that went into carrying the burden was now put towards realizing her enlightenment. And this is exactly what we're doing here. All of the energy that you're putting into the carrying the burden of your habit patterns and all of the maladjustedness is going to be put towards awakening, towards enlightenment. Now, I don't know about you, but when I think about, what do I want to do with my life? Do I want to keep on carrying my burdens and just being like, oh, another day, how am I going to get through this? Or do I want to live a life of unconditional love, compassion, joy? I don't know. We have that choice. So this particular water buffalo got so clear and felt so liberated and so free and so boundless and so capable and strong that this water buffalo was able to just leap right through this tiny, so a latticed window, right, has all of the squares on it. This water buffalo was so purified that they could actually take these huge horns and this huge hulking body, now realized as Buddha nature, right? And just leap through the window. How wonderful, right? How wonderful. And of course, it would be great if you could just leap through that window and then you just go galloping through the cosmos and you're sort of kicking up all of this Buddha dust, and it's just a wonderful time, right? Wouldn't that be great? Oh, that is kind of nice. But fear not. Buffalo gets stuck. And what stops the buffalo from going all the way through the window? A little teeny tiny tail. Is this not maddening? But Mumon says, what a strange and marvelous thing it is. Not like, oh my God, the guy's totally stuck. He did all that work for nothing. He's not going through any kind of cosmic bliss through the Buddha fields, right? So this tail is the Bodhisattva's vow, right? This tail is the Bodhisattva's vow to enter so deeply and so correctly into the true nature of our life. Because guess what? We cannot escape the real, God, what are we going to do? I'm going to die. I'm going to get old. I'm going to get sick. Every single one of us. And even if we're lucky, we're going to get old. Some of us don't even get that chance. So the Bodhisattva says, I'm interested in that. I want to go there. I want to help the suffering of the world. And where does that help begin? With your own consciousness, your own mind stream. So, bodhisattvas need wisdom. No wisdom, no bodhisattvic action. You can have good action in the world, but if you don't understand the nature of that tail, if you don't understand the nature of all pervasive human suffering as luminous emptiness, you will never be of use that is capable of awakening the hearts of others, not to mention your own heart. And let's face it, 99.9% of life is dealing with, difficulty, challenges, right? But the difference is, before we start practicing, it's like the body of the water buffalo is like kind of small and shriveled and tiny, and the tail is like huge and long, like a boa constrictor, because there's so much difficulty, there's so much problem. During practice, and as we practice that body, our Buddha body, our Buddha nature body grows, and grows to be the size of this water buffalo who can has so much strength and so much capacity to handle the difficulty. And just as the body keeps growing, the tail keeps shrinking, so that you can be less preoccupied with your own problems and more available for the world. Isn't that lovely? Isn't that great? Who wouldn't want to do that? I've spoken. I think for once, I didn't speak long enough. Okay, because I have this card here. It ends at 12:30, and it's 12:20. Oh no. So we have Oh, what's happening? Okay. Nothing is happening. This is what the bodhisattvas have to discover. Right? I love it. Perfect. So let's talk about that a little bit more. What the bodhisattvas have to discover that nothing is fixed. Nothing is solid. Anything that we name is what we call a mere imputation. And that life itself is quite spacious and quite mysterious and incredibly trustworthy. This we discover as we're sitting on the cushion. And honestly, we do that one breath at a time, right? You're sitting on the cushion, your mind's on fire, your body's full of pain. See it, acknowledge it, let it go, and return to your practice. You're unhooking from the habit energies of the narrative that you have inherited from all of the experiences you've had, the story that you tell yourself about who you are. And this story, as we know, is incredibly limiting. And it's not because you don't have all the facts. It's because Storyville, right, isn't the same as living out of what we call the bliss void. The energetic help and buoyancy that is available to all of us from beginningless time, right? This is what we're contacting. What is that? What is that is far beyond, cuts right through Storyville? What is that? When you come into the Tokusan room, you bring that and you show that, and we work with that. And we help to trust it more and more and more. You know, we all have those experiences, you know, the beautiful sunset or some kind of peak experience when you feel like, oh my God, I'm in such a flow state here. I don't even know what's happening, but it's like everything's just going right. I remember I used to ride horses. There were a couple of jumps that I took that still to this day, I remember the feeling tone of the horse and myself jumping that fence. It was like pure perfection. So that's kind of the quality that I'm talking about. And for bodhisattvas, this kind of energetic help is pretty much always available because that's what you're practicing. That's what you're training in. Okay? This help is also not just coming from the inside. It's also coming from the outside. Because when we make that vow to save all sentient beings, to fully awaken in this lifetime, all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas throughout space and time perk up and say, oh, we got one. Let's help him out, shall we? And you learn how to trust that. So we have 5 more minutes, and I will take one or 2 questions, I think, if there are any. Okay. Oh.
Sensei, you said life this life is trustworthy.
Mhm.
In what way is it trustworthy? Can you say more?
Because it's always, the Buddha is always arising as this life. Remember that famous line? Oh, I can't say it now because they've all arrived.
Thank you for your teaching.
I vow to wake all the beings of the world. I vow to set endless heartache to rest. I vow to walk through every wisdom gate. I vow to live the great Buddha way. I vow to wake all the beings of the world. Yes, I do. I vow to set endless heartache to rest. Woo! I vow to walk through every wisdom gate. I vow to live the great Buddha way. One more time. I vow to wake all the beings of the world. I vow to set endless heartache to rest. I vow to walk through every wisdom gate. I vow to live the great Buddha way. Thank you, everyone. Before we break for another fabulous lunch, I mentioned we have a few announcements.
So next Sunday, March 10th, is the beginning of Ango, which runs through May 12th. As Joan said, this is a labor-intensive venture that we're on. So next Sunday will be a high ceremony. Come sign the Ango scroll, get your Ango thread. There'll be lunch, and then there will be the Ango opening hike and the Abbacy tea, which our beautiful kitchen bodhisattvas have baked cookies for. So there is, you should have gotten a list of all the Ango events and email. It's also on the Facebook page.
My name is Kensei, and related to that, I have an announcement on behalf of the Sangha Circle Coordinator, Ryushi. Sangha Circle registration closes tonight, so if you're a temple member and you haven't yet registered, please do so. And if you have questions about what is a Sangha Circle, you can reference that email, or you can see me or send a message to Ryushi. But do sign up by tonight, please. Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Enmei. Just a reminder that the deadline is approaching for Jukai formation, our Jukai cohort. So if anyone is interested in taking the precepts this year, oh, you guys, you could stay up here, it's okay. If anyone's interested, there is a form to be filled out. It's easiest to do it online. You can access it through our temple website. You can also see me, Enmei, after service. And we did have Dharma school today, and we talked about this precious human life rarely encountered is easily lost. And we talked about a parable that the Buddha had told about a turtle that swam up out of the ocean, and when it came to the surface, a gold ring went around its nose, and how rare that is that that happened. And so we made some Dharma turtles in our Dharma school today.
My name is Eka. I just wanted to remind everyone that the third Saturday of the month is Teen Dharma. We meet here at the temple from 6 to 9. This month, March, is sushi making. So it's going to be super fun. If you are a teen and you want to get involved, super easy. Just contact me and show up. Thank you.
My name is Jakai, and thank you again to everyone who has updated your membership and connected in that way. It's just been beautiful connecting to you all. There are a number of people who are either new members for the first time or contemplating membership. And if you're in either of those categories, we're having a meeting in 2 weeks on Sunday, March 22nd at 8:30 in the morning. We'll have some coffee and refreshments and conversation with teachers about what it means to be a member at the Buddhist Temple of Toledo, and welcome and connect to the community. If you have any questions, please see me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ankin Session. Ongo opening session starts next weekend. We could really use SAMU helpers Wednesday afternoon at 2 p.m. You can talk to Soen about that. And just a reminder, if you are a Shoken or you're going to apply to Shoken in the future, that marks a quarter of the year through. And many of you have 0 days. You got to get up to that 14. A quarter of 14 is 3.5. So just a reminder to get going on signing up for session.
Looks like that's it. Please restore the Zendo.